Top of the morning to you. Happy hoodie and hat Friday. Look at that. We got all three here, guys. How are we doing? Greg, how you feeling, man? It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Parker. We were around yesterday. I love hoodie and hat day. We have to find some way to get hoodie and hat day sponsored, whether it's, I think, Marcus, you said New Era or Mitchell and Ness. Yeah. Someone get out there and just sponsor hoodie and hat day. All about it.
All about it. Yeah, man. Just like we're here, we're hoodied up, we got our hats. Like somebody wants to get in on board, and like you can attach yourself to a show with the hottest team, one of the hottest teams, most popular teams, biggest villain, whatever you want to call it. Like the Dodgers are must watch. That's all you need to know.
Exactly.
Yes. 16-11 after a sweep of the Nationals. You can't even call it revenge. It's the Nationals, but the Dodgers are looking like they're back in form and they're just feeling good, and they are the team that we expected them to be. We got a lot to react to. Yamamoto's game, he nearly died. Teoscar hit a home run. But before we do all that, I'll just remind everyone that the Blue Review is presented by LAX and our friends at Los Angeles International Airport. They're changing the travel experience. Traffic. All right, great.
That was me. Go ahead. Tell us about LAX. I'll take that one.
Reducing traffic, saving us time, and transforming the travel experience. For more information, check it out at flylax.com/transforminglax. And now that I'm composed and we're good, last night, Dodgers get the dub 2-1. It wasn't pretty, but Yamamoto's performance was pretty. Why don't we start there, Marcus? How did you feel about Yamamoto's outing?
I mean, it was everything that we wanted it to be, right? I mean, I had been saying I wanted to see more efficiency out of him. He was very efficient. I wanted to see, him get some more swings and misses and really attack hitters in the zone. I felt like he did that. We said yesterday that we wanted to see him have a number of low stress innings, and he really did that. I mean, the only time he was really in any trouble was at, I think, the sixth, where he had a couple of guys on, and even then, there wasn't a hard hit ball. I think one single, one was like a little bleeder roller, like up the third base line that was just hitting the right spot. So it wasn't like he got hit very hard. He was never in any real stress points at any time during that ball game. The scariest moment was literally that line drive that came screaming right back at him, and he ducked out of the way and snagged it in a Gold Glove type move. But this was easily the best start he has had with the Dodgers, and it really fulfilled all of the wishes that I'd had for him.
Yeah, 100%. And Parker, what I need to hear just real fast.
Yeah, why don't we take a look back into yesterday and see what Greg's performance would look like.
I would love to see just one easy outing, just where he goes six innings. I don't even care if it doesn't go with 7 or 8 or 9. Just 6 innings of solid baseball. Doesn't give too many hits. Gets like 8 to 10 strikeouts.
Do pitchers go 9 innings? Do starting pitchers go 9 innings?
Look at that.
I mean, that sounds basically right on, minus it's 7 Ks instead of 8 to 10. I think that was pretty close to what we were looking for there, Marcus. We both were in agreement with that, so that was great to see out of him. And by the way, you're right. That comeback that was directly at his face, we're lucky right now he's not in the hospital in a coma. Yeah. Because if his glove doesn't happen to be there, he got his hand up there, but if that doesn't happen to be there, he's in the hospital right now. Mm-hmm. Like that was scorched at his face.
Just a rocket. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he went over to Dave and he's like, I thought I was going to die.
I almost died.
But he was great. It was just really nice to see that. And this is the Yamamoto that we thought we were going to see, right? He's really had 2 bad outings, mostly against the Padres. He's gave up a couple of runs other places as well, but his ERA is now down to 3.5, right around that, when it was way over like 12 at one point. It's nice to see that he's getting the swing and misses. He's missing bats. He's not giving up runs. He has, I think at least 3 outings of 0 runs. Mm-hmm. He's starting to figure out about the American League game. The American game, and he's going to be just fine. And it's really nice to see that he's going to hopefully be worth that $325 million.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of it. I mean, he's gotten comfortable. And I think it's only gonna get better. Like, I still don't think he's hit his ceiling yet. So I think there's a lot more room for him to grow what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, despite even including his horrific debut in Korea, he's still, it looks like, I saw Blake Harris put out a tweet earlier this morning. He's still second in the NL ranks in terms of strike to walk ratio. Percentage-wise, he's like 26.7. I think he's third in K percentage. So, I mean, striking out people at a 31.9% rate. He's still absolutely dominating. And I know, like you said, he's down to about a 3-ish ERA. He's like a 2 since, if you take out that Korea thing. So I think we're getting our money's worth, and it's only going to get better as the continues to get more innings in and just more practice and experience in.
Oh, 100%. So, yeah. So, all right. So we got two starters that we feel good about, right? We got we got Tyler Glass now. We got Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I don't know. I guess we have more than that, right? I feel like Landon Knack has had 2 really good starts for this team so far, and at some point, Bobby Miller's going to come back. So, it's me. This is me being sunshine and rainbows again, Greg. Like the rotation, there are positives. There are silver linings with the starting rotation right now.
Yeah, I mean, even Paxton, as he's just walking a bunch of dudes, but he's not giving up runs. I mean, that's going to come back to bite him sooner or later. But he's also, your 5th, 6th starter. It's the rotation's at a good spot right now. It's not at the spot that we need it to be fully all the way up and down, but it'll get there. And especially when Buehler comes back, when Bobby Miller comes back. Hopefully Gavin Stone's pitching tonight, and hopefully he kind of rights himself after a kind of a rough outing against the Mets. He didn't give up many runs, but he also threw a ton of pitches and walked a bunch of guys. So as long as he can kind of find the strike zone and not be wild, hopefully that'll be better too.
So on the other end, the offense, I mean, we could talk about Yamamoto a little more later and just moving forward, but on the offensive end, how did we feel about last night? Shohei finally doesn't get on base, but everybody else kind of picks it up. There were some runners left on base, but overall they handle business. Greg, how did we feel about, Teoscar's home run and Freddie doing his thing?
Yeah, it was nice to see Teoscar just find that home run swing again. He's been scuffling around a little bit, so it was nice to see that. I see things out of like Andy Pajes, was hitting well. Obviously, Freddie's going to continue to do his thing. The team is all starting to come together like it's supposed to. I mean, they didn't put up very many runs yesterday. It's that's going to happen every once in a while. Shohei not getting on base it's going to happen every once in a while. He's still, I think, one of the leaders in hits in all the major leagues so far. So everything is going in the way it's supposed to. The only thing that I want to know about, I haven't seen any yet, but there has to be a ton of jokes on Twitter about Shohei finally flying to Toronto, right? That's got to be a joke somewhere.
I mean, I saw
someone made that, right?
Clumsy Chrissy in the chat already. Hey guys, what is the whole thing with Shohei being on a plane to Toronto? Did I miss something?
No, did you say something in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Chrissy, it wasn't that long ago that people thought that maybe he was going to sign with the Blue Jays, and there was all this it was like Shohei watch, right? Like, is he on a plane? I think they were plane trackers. There's a whole big thing about Shohei flying to Toronto because there was expectations he was going to sign with the Blue Jays. Obviously, we know how that turned out.
Right.
Do we think he gets booed? It would just be absolutely absurd if they do. But I'm seeing that around Twitter.
Why is it absurd?
I mean, he didn't.
Sunshine and rainbows.
Do anything.
I mean,
you're right.
It's not an absurd. It's not an absurd thought, but I don't know. I feel like Canadians are too nice.
Canadians are nice too. Yeah.
Look, if he went to the Blue Jays and the Blue Jays were coming here, I would 100% expect the Dodger fans to boo him. 100%. So I expect and would hope, and actually hope, that Toronto fans boo him. They thought they had him. He was in their grasp, and they got lied to. He was not on a plane.
They may just send a strongly worded letter.
Oh, hey, don't worry. I'm sorry that you couldn't come here, eh?
Right, exactly. Hey,
but no worries. Here's a donut.
Here's some poutine. Here you go. Enjoy your stay. We're happy to have you.
But yeah, they should boo him. 100%. They should boo him.
Okay,
that's sports.
Fair.
That's sports. Yes, definitely.
Outside of Teoscar and Freddie, how did you feel about some of the guys at the bottom end of the lineup starting to just continuously get hits? I mean, even Kike was getting some hits and getting on base. How we feeling so far? I know 16-11 things are looking good, but the bottom of the lineup kind of finding a little bit of a group since Pajes got called.
They're starting to turn things around, which is nice, And look, we don't need them to be world beaters. I've said this before. Like, they don't all have to go out and hit 280, 290.
Nope.
They just need to constantly get on base or consistently get on base, I should say, and set the table for the guys at the top of the lineup. And we're starting to see that. You mentioned Pages, Greg. I mean, he's been really good the last few games. They got a hit out of Miguel Rojas. Barnes didn't get a hit, but he walked. He got on base. Kike getting a couple of hits. I mean, so those things are starting to turn around. I still I get, I don't know, secondhand cringe when I watch Chris Taylor at this point now.
God,
like,
it's so bad.
I want so badly for things to go well for him, and right now they are so not going well for him. And it's really, really tough to watch.
No, Chris Taylor is an absolute disaster out there. It really feels like when he steps to the plate, he is 0-2. Like he actually starts the at bat 0-2 because, and no matter what, he gets to that point no matter what. It's just really hard to watch. It's just bad swings, can't see the strike zone. It's just a problem because everybody else around him is starting to. Even Gavin Lux is starting to get a couple of hits here and there. I think you mentioned it yesterday, Marcus, that he had he has 4 runs in his last 4 games or 3 games, something along those lines.
Yeah, 3 games.
Yeah. So he's starting to come around a little bit. It's just singles, but that's the start of things. It's one by one. And everybody else is starting to hit except for him. And to me, Chris Taylor and Kike Hernandez are the exact same guy. They're both right-handed utility players. And if one of them is playing better than the other, and the other one of them can't even get on base or get a hit, then he's not really doing much. And it's time to start finding. I know they're going to do this whole 150, 100 at bats. I just don't know if you can give him that many.
I mean, I don't know how long at this rate, how long will it take Chris Taylor to get to 150 at bats, because they are so hesitant to put him in the lineup on any given day. I mean, I'm looking, he's at 43 at bats right now through 18 games. I mean, game that out. What is that? I mean, that does put you into close to the All-Star break. I mean,
that's too long.
It's a long time to wait.
And by the way, in those 43 at bats, he has 21 strikeouts. He's striking out almost half the time he comes to the plate. Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing? Hey, speaking of strikeouts, though, Greg, we got to do it. We got to go to your villain. Vesia looks absolutely on fire. One of the best bullpen arms on the team at the moment, outside of, Fireman Phillips, who we'll get into a bit because he just absolutely dominated when they were only up 2-1. But Vesia, let's just kind of talk on him. Marcus, let's start with you, and then Greg, you can talk about your villain. What are we seeing out of Vesia? And I know that I think you guys touched on it maybe yesterday a little bit. I was listening in. The pitches, the command, it's all looking better. Marcus, what are we thinking about Vesia?
No, I mean, he's starting to put it together lately. No runs allowed in his last 5 outings. He struck out the side yesterday. The only blemish, the error there.
Yeah.
Kind of a little weird play there, but he came back and worked around it with no trouble at all. So whatever the adjustments that he has made, they seem to have taken. They seem to be working. And like I said yesterday, I'm curious to see, when there's more film on him or what, more people are watching and stuff, like what adjustments the hitters make. But for now, Greg, he's looking like the Alex Vesia from a couple of years ago, who was just nails out of the bullpen.
So yes, he's looking better. I'm not fully ready to say he's back to that guy. I'm just not. I've seen too many times that when he throws the fastball, he's giving up shots that go deep into the outfield and go deep into to the warning track. And sometimes it's in 25 other ballparks. That's a home run. So I know that that's still there, especially when it comes off of his fastball. He's starting to throw at a much higher rate his slider. And Eric Karros talked about it over the weekend a lot. He's throwing that slider, I think, like 2/3 of the time, something around there, which it's helping him out a lot. And because he's not relying on his fastball, because he's not placing his fastball. So if that's the case, if that's what's going to get him better and to be this high leverage reliever that's going to get 3 outs, 3 strikeouts in an inning for you, great. I'm still not ready to get to that point with him, but I'm hoping that he does get there, because I still see too often that he's giving up long shots that just fall just short of being a home run.
Hey man, use the whole ballpark, right?
Yeah,
what it is.
I just don't have full trust yet. I mean, hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll gain that trust and it'll be great. But look, if this turns out to be a reverse jinx on him, fantastic.
It's a win-win for you.
Yes, absolutely. That means the Dodgers are doing well. But until then, I'm not ready to be fully excited. I am happy that he's pitching well. I just hope that it stays.
Yeah, I think
is that fair? I think that's
fair.
That's totally fair. Yeah,
absolutely
I think
fair.
it's been 6 straight outings without an earned run. So, he is, like you mentioned, working his way back towards that high leverage role. And you hope in the next couple weeks he can. But looking at everyone else who kind of stepped in yesterday, Hudson, Phillips, the guys we expect to hold a 2-1 lead or 2-0 lead. I mean, Hudson wasn't too shaky. He still got it done. How are we feeling about those guys, and how confident are we moving forward?
For now, I'm confident enough. I worry a little bit about Hudson, but for the whole 3 series, the bullpen gave up 1 run. It's hard to really complain about that. So Hudson, I do still sort of worry about it at times, but for the most part, he's going well. I'm not really worried about Evan Phillips. I know he had this shaky outing a couple of nights ago. That just felt like, it just was one of those nights where it just wasn't, he wasn't spotting the fastball very well. He just really seemed to struggle. He came back out yesterday and looked more like the Evan Phillips we're used to seeing. So I'm going to chalk that game up a couple nights ago as just kind of a speed bump, and I'm not going to look too much into that.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you when it comes to Phillips. There's going to be every once in a while a bad outing, and he still got out of that. So as long as he gets through all of that, I'm fine with it. And he did look good yesterday. So most likely he gets a day off today, right? Because they probably won't pitch him today. But either way, Hudson is a little bit of a worry. And I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday, Marcus, about he's just going to be a guy that he's giving up some runs. They're just running him out there as much as they possibly can right now. If I had to guess, as long as they can, just give us everything you got. And we're going to get it all out now. I don't expect him to be with the team, or at least not on the IL come July. You just get as much as you possibly can, because he wasn't even supposed to be really on this team. He was a minor league invitee. He had problems with his knee. He had no idea whether he was going to be able to pitch. He had problems with arm issues in the past. He just came back. He said, this is the only team that I'm going to come back to. And so they're just letting him run out there. And when he falls off, and that's going to be the it for him. So they're just going to run him into the ground, basically. Hey, go out as much as you possibly can, and then we'll let you go. That's just how it's going to be, unfortunately. I like Daniel Hudson, but he's not long for this bullpen. And then when it comes to the only other guy that's really out there, Ryan Brazier, he didn't pitch yesterday, but he pitched well the day before, after pitching very, very badly in very many of the games before that. So hopefully that starts to come back. I'm not worried about the bullpen, like we've talked about 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but then also, you and I talked about this yesterday, Greg. Some of this too does have to, you talk about the opponent on the other side, right? And the Nationals they're not expected to contend. I think they are, certainly bottom third of the league in just about every offensive category. So it was nice. I'm not going to take anything away, right? It's nice to see the bullpen go out and do their jobs and shut things down and close out and help get the sweep. But this isn't like what they're going to see in Toronto, in Arizona next weekend when the Braves come to town. Those are going to be completely different animals. But look, let's keep the positives where we find them, right? They went out and did the job against a team that they were better than. So that is definitely a check mark for them.
100%. And yeah, it's what we see against Toronto this weekend is going to tell a lot about this team. And then if they can get through this series, if they win this series, I'll start feeling even better about this team. I feel great about them just in general, but if they can get through this series on the road in Toronto against a good team, I'll feel great.
Yeah, that's big. So speaking of, we got Gavin Stone today versus, I think it's Chris Bassett. So we're going to face JT. He's basically their best hitter right now, even though they have all those young studs.
It's crazy.
Yeah, looking into this matchup, how are we feeling, Greg, about Gavin Stone? I know he's 1-1, I think, with a 4 ERA right now, but a good amount of strikeouts, 16. So the off-speed stuff, that's his power change is his go-to. It's been looking good. How are we feeling so far about Stone? And tonight, your predictions, since you are Greg Stradamus.
Greg Stradamus today.
Since you're Greg Stradamus, yeah.
I think this is actually going to be a kind of a rough outing tonight for him. I think he probably gives up a little more runs. If it's this, as he showed against the Mets, I talked about it a little bit earlier, that against the Mets, he didn't get out of the 4th inning. He walked 5 guys, I think, and he threw a ton of pitches, over 70 pitches in that 4th inning, and didn't get out of it. So he needs to keep his pitch count down, and I'm worried that that's not going to be something that happens today. I hope that it does, but I would assume this is going to be a bad outing for him. I'm the negative guy. Marcus is the positive guy. But if I would, what I would like to see, I would like to see him keep his pitch count down, find the plate, not walk so many guys, keep it around one to two walks, give up no more than 3 runs. Strike out a bunch of dudes and make it to 5 innings. I think that would be a positive outing for him. But he's going to be up and down. He's still very young. He's going to be up and down, and I think that this one against a lineup like the Toronto is going to be a little bit tougher for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look, ideally, if they could get him 2 trips through the lineup, that would be great. I should caveat that with minimal damage done, right? Like you can go 2 turns through the lineup and give up, 6 runs. That's not so great. But if you can do that with minimal damage done, as you mentioned, sort of keep the pitch count down as much as possible. I think that goes a long way. And I think you sort of feel good if he can keep him to 3 runs or less. I think that's a really good start, and I think the offense can sort of pick up the slack there. I mean, he's got. It's been he went 5 innings, he went 3 innings, he went 6 2/3, he went 3 1/3. I mean, so like if he could get them to 5 innings, I think you call that a quality start for Gavin Stone tonight.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So I mean, despite the one thing that we keep mentioning throughout this season, when we went over to the Padres, we didn't want to see Manny get hot against the Dodgers. Looking at this Toronto squad, guys like Vladimir Guerrero, Bo Bichette, all-stars, they're not having a great start to their season. I think Vladdy's below the 100 line. Actually, I think he's 214 on the year. And then you look at Bo Bichette, he's about 223. So we don't want to be seeing those.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying Bichette?
Bo Bichette.
He's not French.
No, yeah, he's not.
I may have let the Bichette slip. But
Bo Bichette.
Yeah. Yes. Bo Bichette, of course. And Vladdy not having a great start to the season. And Springer as well. We don't want to see these guys get hot. So I don't know. I mean, you got Glasnow on the mound the day after, of course. The season predictions, I'm just going to start with you, Marcus. What are we seeing out of this series, and what do you think is going to happen real quick?
Look, I would be thrilled taking 2 out of 3 in Toronto. Like, I think a lot of it hinges on what they get tonight out of Gavin Stone. I feel pretty good about them going with Glasnow tomorrow, but if they can get a good start out of Stone, if they can get this first game, I feel good about them taking 2 out of 3. You talk about, guys getting hot. Like Justin Turner is already playing well. He's already hitting the ball well. So far, we've seen Manny Machado, former Dodger, get hot against the Dodgers. Cody Bellinger, former Dodger, hit the ball well against the Dodgers. I love Justin Turner, but please, Justin, if you could take the next 3 days off, that would be much appreciated. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. And Parker, you did say something that's right. We don't want to see those guys get hot. They are free swingers. And so if they get a hold of some of these balls, they're going to be going out of the park because they have that much power. They're very good baseball players, and they're going to figure it out eventually. Just because they're playing down right now, they're going to figure it out. That's a very good lineup. So if at some point it's hopefully not against the Dodgers, that's all I really want to see. And Justin Turner is going to play well because he's just a good player.
Justin Turner, man. Yeah, 23 Ks I think on the year for Big Daddy Vladdy's Jr. So looking forward, you got this game tonight, and you got a good series against Toronto, and the rest of the road trip will be looking competitive as well. We'll be back Monday. It doesn't even feel like Friday because we've only been together once this week. One day. Next week, we rest assured we'll be together a lot more next week, reacting to some Dodger games. Greg, I'll let you go ahead and close out. It's a good episode today, and it was good to be here for a hat and hoodie Friday.
Yeah, hat and hoodie Friday. Love hoodie Friday. I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll be back here on Monday, 9:30 to 9:55, right before Travis and Slee. So stick around now for Travis and Slee and hear all about how much the Lakers suck. That's coming up.